Johnny Depp's career has always been synonymous with transformation. Over decades, he's embodied some of cinema's most eccentric and unforgettable characters, from the chaotic charm of Jack Sparrow to the tormented soul of Edward Scissorhands. And now, in the mysterious thriller Day Drinker, Depp once again proves his unparalleled ability to disappear into a role. The film, a fresh collaboration with director Mark Webb, casts Depp as Kelly, a deeply enigmatic figure with a murky past and unpredictable motives. As buzz around the movie begins to swell, fans and critics alike are taking note of Depp's astonishing transformation, both physical and emotional, for a role that could very well redefine this chapter of his already storied career. Day Drinker is more than just a comeback. It's a psychological and cinematic shift. Set against the backdrop of a lavish yet isolated yacht, the story explores themes of grief, guilt, and human vulnerability. Depp's character, Kelly, arrives as a seemingly unassuming guest but quickly becomes a gravitational force around which the narrative spirals. He's silver-haired, sun-weathered, and emotionally complex, far from the flamboyant figures Depp has portrayed in the past. There's a quiet menace to him, a suggestion of things left unsaid, and this subtlety is precisely what makes the performance so captivating. His transformation isn't just cosmetic, though the salt and pepper hair, tailored resort wear, and haunted eyes mark a stark visual departure. It's internal. Depp plays Kelly with a kind of tension that simmers just beneath the surface, making even his silences feel loaded with backstory. Much of the buzz around Day Drinker is rooted in the unusual ensemble cast and the setting that serves almost as an additional character in the film. Penelope Cruz, a longtime collaborator and friend of Depp, plays a powerful, morally ambiguous character whose past intertwines with Kelly's in unexpected ways. Their chemistry, once romantic in films like Blow and Pirates of the Caribbean, on Stranger Tides, now feels more volatile and complex. They circle each other with suspicion, history, and an electric undercurrent of unresolved emotion. Madeline Klein, known for Outer Banks, plays a grieving bartender whose story runs parallel to and eventually intersects with Kelly's. Her loss is recent, raw, and visceral, serving as both a mirror and a contrast to Kelly's long-buried trauma. Through their interactions, we begin to see glimpses of who Kelly might really be beneath his composed facade. Filmed in the Canary Islands, specifically Tenerife, the visual language of the film leans heavily into isolation and exposure. The ocean is vast and beautiful, yet it also suggests a kind of inescapable loneliness. The yacht, luxurious yet claustrophobic, becomes a pressure cooker for secrets and suspicions. This controlled environment forces the characters into confrontation, not just with each other, but with themselves. Depp's performance as Kelly thrives in this tension. He doesn't need grand monologues or overt expressions. His eyes, posture, and subtle gestures do the heavy lifting. There's a stillness in him that suggests an ocean of inner turmoil. And as the film progresses, the audience is left questioning what Kelly is really running from, or toward. Director Mark Webb, best known for The Amazing Spider-Man and 500 Days of Summer, brings an intriguing dual sensibility to Day Drinker. His romantic, character-driven instincts merge with sharp pacing and suspense to create a film that balances intimacy with dread. It's clear that Webb and Depp were aligned in their vision for Kelly, a man who speaks volumes in silence, whose past is felt more than told. Webb has spoken in early press coverage about how Depp brought layers of personal experience and emotion to the role, infusing Kelly with a lived-in authenticity that couldn't be scripted. The decision to cast Depp wasn't just about star power. It was about trusting an actor who could carry the weight of ambiguity without ever tipping into melodrama or cliché. And then there's the matter of Depp's physical transformation. Photos leaked from the set earlier in the year showed him virtually unrecognizable, a silver fox with sun-kissed skin, angular lines in his face, and a wardrobe that mixed casual elegance with hints of concealment. This version of Depp is more restrained, less stylized than his past personas. But it's precisely this restraint that adds potency to the role. The physical transformation is not about vanity or shock value. It's an extension of the character. Kelly isn't flashy. He's hiding in plain sight. His appearance suggests both affluence and exhaustion, a man who's been running for too long and has now come to a dead stop in dangerous waters. Behind the scenes, the production was as intense as the story it tells. Depp reportedly immersed himself fully into the character, maintaining Kelly's emotional reserve even off-camera. Crew members described a focused, introspective Depp, deeply connected to the psychological complexity of his role. There was no trace of the chaotic headlines that once dominated his public image. On set, he was simply an actor at work, laser-focused on embodying Kelly. This commitment is part of what makes the performance so powerful. There's a sincerity to it that feels earned. After years of public scrutiny and legal battles, Depp seems to have turned inward, channeling personal struggles into his craft. Kelly, in many ways, becomes a vessel for reflection, redemption, and reinvention. The plot of Day Drinker unfolds like a puzzle. Each character aboard the yacht has a secret, and as those secrets unravel, so does the perception of who Kelly really is. At times he appears protective, even tender, particularly in scenes with Klein's character. But there are also moments when his calm demeanor cracks, revealing something colder, even menacing. Is he a savior or a threat, victim or perpetrator? The film doesn't offer easy answers, and Depp's performance wisely resists resolution. He leaves space for interpretation, inviting viewers to project their own fears and hopes onto Kelly. This ambiguity is a hallmark of great acting, and it's where Depp shines brightest. One of the most striking aspects of Day Drinker is how it explores grief and guilt through metaphor and mood. The title itself is a clue. Drinking during daylight hours often implies a need to numb, to escape. Kelly is not just a man who drinks, he is a man trying to drown something inside himself. But alcohol is just the surface. The real intoxication comes from memory, regret, and the inability to change what's been done. Depp taps into this emotional depth with such precision that it feels almost biographical at times. He doesn't just act like a man in pain, he becomes one. Critics who have seen early cuts of the film have praised Depp's restraint and nuance. There are no over-the-top theatrics here, no caricature. Instead, there's a deep and deliberate excavation of character. Depp draws you in with the smallest expressions, a flicker of doubt, a clenched jaw, a too long pause before responding. It's the kind of performance that demands attention and rewards those who watch closely. And in a cinematic landscape, often driven by spectacle, Day Drinker offers something quieter, more introspective, and ultimately more impactful. The supporting cast also elevates the film. Penelope Cruz delivers a fierce, layered performance as a woman torn between survival and sincerity. Her scenes with Depp are particularly electric, filled with tension that feels earned from years of shared screen history. Madeline Klein brings unexpected depth to her role, proving she can hold her own alongside industry veterans. Even the more minor characters, played by Spanish actors Manu Rios and Aaron Piper, add texture to the ensemble, each bringing their own secrets and motivations into the confined, unstable space of the yacht. But it's Depp who anchors the film, both literally and metaphorically. Everything orbits around Kelly, his silence, his presence, his unraveling. As the film heads toward its conclusion, revelations come to light that reframe everything we thought we knew. Kelly is not who he claimed to be, nor is he entirely who others feared he might be. The ending, ambiguous and emotionally charged, leaves viewers with more questions than answers, but that's the point. Day Drinker doesn't aim to wrap things up neatly. It wants to haunt you, to linger in your mind long after the credits roll. And Depp's performance is the reason it succeeds. He plays Kelly as a man who has seen too much, lost too much, and is just beginning to face the consequences. It's a portrayal that feels at once intimate and universal, drawing on the human experience of loss, denial, and the fragile hope for redemption. For Johnny Depp, Day Drinker isn't just another role, it's a turning point. It signals a return not just to Hollywood but to form, to the kind of deeply felt, transformative performances that made him a legend. After years of public scrutiny, tabloid headlines, and court battles that at times seemed to overshadow his creative identity, Depp steps back into the spotlight not with fanfare or spectacle, but with nuance, depth, and quiet power. This isn't a performance designed to remind the world of his stardom. It's one that reasserts his status as a serious actor, capable of channeling the messiest aspects of the human condition with empathy and precision. In Day Drinker, Depp doesn't play a hero or a villain. He plays a man, flawed, uncertain, and painfully real. This return to grounded, emotionally layered storytelling is especially significant given the arc of Depp's career. While many remember him for iconic, larger-than-life characters like Captain Jack Sparrow or the Mad Hatter, his roots were always in intimate, character-driven narratives. Films like Donnie Brasco, The Ninth Gate, and Finding Neverland revealed an actor with a gift for interiority, for expressing volumes without words, for creating emotional gravity through presence alone. In Kelly, those instincts are fully activated again. He doesn't perform the role as much as he inhabits it. His every movement, every glance, seems to be weighed down by history, loss, and a subtle, persistent ache. There's no need for elaborate makeup or fantastical settings. Depp draws you in through emotional truth. What's most remarkable about his work in Day Drinker is the restraint. It would have been easy to play Kelly with melodrama, to lean into the trauma or mystery with theatrical flair. But Depp goes the other way. He strips the character down to his rawest elements. Kelly doesn't try to impress. He doesn't try to convince anyone of anything. He simply exists, quietly bearing the scars of choices made long ago. And yet, within that quiet lies a hurricane of feeling. This ability to convey complexity through subtlety is what elevates the performance. It's not the kind that grabs you immediately. It seeps into you, stays with you, and resonates on a deeper, more human level. In a time when so many performances are designed to go viral or chase awards, Day Drinker feels refreshingly uncalculated. Depp isn't chasing redemption here. He's doing what true artists do. He's telling a story. And he's doing it with all the wisdom, pain, and vulnerability of someone who's lived through his own turbulent chapters. The result is not just one of the most compelling performances of his career, but one of the most honest. As Kelly, Johnny Depp reminds us why we fell in love with his work in the first place, and why, even after everything, we still believe in his extraordinary talent.